And we are live. So, welcome guys. Welcome back. Welcome back. As you can see, we are no longer outside or in my living room. We are in my garage. I figured, why not do it in here? Kind of muggy out, kind of loud outside. I figured we'd do something in the garage. While you guys are working hard at home, struggling not to, hurt yourselves with exercise, my struggle here today is going to be to not hit my head on this wood that's right here of this kind of art piece hanging from our garage. So if you hear me say ow and start bleeding, call for help. If this is live, if this is recorded, check in, make sure I'm still around. So we'll get started standing on our feet today. We don't need much equipment at all. If anything, there'll be a time or two where I suggest something, but typically today you should be completely fine, body weight. As always, I recommend going barefoot if you can, or socks if you're more comfortable in that. Granted, I don't want you being too slippery on your floor if you're wearing socks, so that one's kind of up to you. Today is full body, mostly strength and corrective exercise. Today I didn't intend to be too heart ratey, although there will be some kind of elevation in your heart rate and your breath. But what I care more about today is you focus on really comfortable quality movements and incorporating your breath in your movements. I don't want you today to think about setting any records for the amount of reps you can do in a certain movement. If you do 3 good ones, that is far better than doing 30 okay or bad ones. When in doubt, if it feels good, you're doing it right. If it feels wrong, adjust and try to get it to at least feel okay. Discomfort in a muscle is not necessarily a bad thing, but joint discomfort, joint pinchy, shooty pain, that is not okay. When in doubt, if you don't know what to do, revert to a stretch or a warm-up that I might show, or just hang tight. Take that as an extra rest until we get going here. I'm going to struggle today because what I can do is I can see all of the people that go down the sidewalk in front of this garage. So I'm going to do my best to focus on you guys today. So we'll get started standing. We're going to do our full body cars, how we always normally warm up, which is just our joint circles. So find your statue posture here for a moment. Basically get those feet to push outwards. Tuck and squeeze your glutes here. Compress that rib cage down. Get your body as stiff and strong as possible. We want to become stiff as if we could brace against heavy winds. Lastly, squeeze your fists, make tight little fists. All the tension in the body except for the neck and head. So we'll start by tucking your chin down. Think chin to chest. Scrape that chin to your right shoulder as far as you can go over that right shoulder. Drop that right ear, side bending your neck, kind of getting a nice side stretch. Pivot the head up and over. Super slow roll to the other shoulder, looking all the way over your left. Tuck your chin to your collarbone, pendulum scrape across the chest. Again to the right, as far as you can look right. Side bend that neck, pivoting nose up. Get that nice stretch. Now continue this circle here. I'm going to give you 30 more seconds of the same direction for you to experiment that next circle. Basically, if you find a section of stretch that feels particularly good, stay there and just kind of floss that area, or tiny little wiggle stretches of activation there. So if it feels good when I bend my head to the right, I get a great stretch more than all the others. Stay there here. We got about 15 seconds. Explore that circle. Whatever portions of it feel right to you. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and then let's reverse that circle. So we were going around. We can go straight down again if you're lost. We look to the left shoulder, side bend my left ear down, pivot my nose up or my chin up, slow neck roll all the way looking over that right shoulder. Drop that chin down and scrape across your collarbones. Keep going here if you're familiar with this one. If you're not, what I want you to think about is that your nose is a marker or a Sharpie, and you're drawing the biggest circle you can without your shoulders moving or getting involved. One more circle, and then at the end of that, I want you to experiment finding the best spot for a little stretch that you can find and floss and activate. So just think, if I find that good angle right there, get a great stretch, I'm just going to do tiny little wiggles or tiny motions in and out of that stretch, basically trying to actively pull my head further into that stretch. We got about 20 seconds. Again, keep searching. If you're just continuing that circle, I am completely happy with that too. So 5, 4, 3, 2, and finish that neck circle. From here, we're going to go with our shoulder blades. So imagine you're about to hug somebody, so your arms are out nice and wide. Your fists are going to stay put. Your arms are going to stay locked. We're going to move our shoulder blades through their full range of motion. So I'll show you to the side. We're going to do that shrug, roll around, down and back, scoot forward, shrug up into our cheeks, pull behind the ears, down into the hips, forward. A few more in that direction, several times. Ribs stay tight. Try not to move your postural muscles too much here. Go ahead and reverse, down and back, shrugging up, shifting forward, front down, down back, back up, forward up, last circle, all the way around. Awesome. I'm gonna come down on one knee for this one. I recommend you stay standing. I just, again, don't wanna hit my head, or sorry, my hands on the rafters above me here. So find your posture, really compress that rib cage core. That's very important for this one. We're gonna go both arms, same time. Lock out your elbows, reach up and forward, palms up. How high can those arms get past your ears without your rib cage coming up and cheating? Pivot those hands out, twist those arms out, and slowly swim, reaching back behind you further. Squeeze those shoulder blades, bring them down to the hips, and reverse, go backwards. How far back can you go? Pivot those arms outwards, reach those arms upwards, past the ears before you come down slow. You might get little crinkles and cracks. That's okay. We just don't want sharp shooting pain. I get shoulder cracks every time. I have damaged my shoulders in all the fun activities and sports I like to do. But you know what? My shoulders still hold up just fine. We heal if we do the proper strength training and corrective exercise and rehab and prehab for the activities we want to do. All right, we'll go on to our hips. For this, we'll be standing. I do recommend you have something nearby to help you with a little bit of balance. My hand right now is on a crash pad, which is one of the reasons my shoulder has been hurt in the past from rock climbing. So thank you, crash pad, for taking my fall. So tall posture, bring that knee up as high as you can. Posture strong, glute strong. I don't want any motion in this part of the body here. Knee goes out to the side. Pivot. So notice my foot goes back and my knee goes back behind the body. Bring it down and through. Bring it back up again. Up as tall as possible. Open as much as possible. Pivot as much as possible before I go backwards. Let's do one more. I'm going to show you a different view here. So I go up and out. Pivot. Notice my shin changes angles. Squeeze the glute around and back. Now we have 3 in reverse. Knee backwards. Lift out to the side. Pivot over, stepping over the bathtub. Bring that knee in. Under, back, out to the side. Pivot up and over the bathtub. One more to the front, I'll show you. Backwards, out, pivot up and over. The slower, the better with those. Awesome. Switch sides. I'm going to grab this death trap of an art piece here. Knee goes up, knee goes out. Pivot around and squeeze that glute back behind the body. Meet the knee in the middle. 2 more. Up, tight core. Out. This should feel like a level of strength training or exercise. If this is super easy for you, you're not staying tight enough and you're not trying to maximize the circle of where your hip is moving. I believe one more if my count is correct. Up and out, pivot around and back. Then we have 3 in reverse. I'm trying to get as much circular motion actively out of my joint as possible. So you really want to slow it down and think we're carving out more joint space. It should be difficult to get those little extra inches or millimeters of motion. Last one. Back, out, rotate around, knee up and in. Awesome. So let's go feet nice and wide here. We're going to do kind of a back relaxer. Feet wide are going to give us a more balanced, stable base. Now, what I want you to do is think you have 100 pieces of vertebrae, and you're going to go 1 to 2 to 3, 4, all the way down slowly. Hands can either glide out on the legs for a little bit of support or just reach right to the ground. Let it be your call. Start with the head. When you can no longer drop your head, start to drop your chest. Think sink in the core and the chest. Then you're going to notice the rib cage starts to tuck more. Then the belly button is crunching. Treat it like a crunch. Imagine you're reaching the top of your head to the ground here. Whatever you need to grab for a little bit more support, hands can be on the ground. They can go behind you. Whatever works, just actively reach. Slowly from the tailbone, go glutes forward, and you're going to reverse the one by one piece all the way up to the top. Nice tall head. 2 more. Head first, then chest upper back, then ribs mid back, then core low back, tailbone, slowly reaching. Try to get that hamstring stretch at the bottom. Some people like to cradle their arms. That adds more weight. Slowly curl up by squeezing those glutes forward. All the way up. 1 more. Head down. If you get dizzy at any time, obviously just wait. Perfectly fine to just hold on tight. Slow curl down. We're just trying to actively load every piece of your back. Makes your back healthier. Slow on the way up. Again, at the top, make sure you're not dizzy. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes it happens to me in front of you, and that's way more embarrassing if I pass out. I'm the teacher. I'm supposed to be the expert. So you're going to take your right arm, reach up and overhead. Your left arm reaches under your ribs. If you messed up left and right like I usually do, it doesn't matter. You should just look like this. Now, I want you to actively reach those arms further, as far as you possibly can, and notice how I bow my body. So again, reach over, reach across. 3 more. Reach actively and come back. Try to inhale length, exhale back. Inhale, exhale. Last one, if I can count. Switch arms. The frame looks the other direction now. Again, I reach actively, big inhale, exhale, come back. 5 total, there's 2. Really reach each limb as far as possible. Last 2 here, if I can count. I feel like I'm messing my counting up today. Blame it on the garage fumes. All right, next one. Feet go wide again, as wide as you're comfortable with. And if you can, get those feet to point straight ahead, like they're on railroad tracks, not out. So if you're familiar with skiing, I don't want pizza slice, and I don't want turned out, which you almost never want with skiing. I want parallel. Now, from here, hands on your hip bones. Push your hip bones back to the wall behind you and shift to one hip. So I'm trying to reach into a diagonal. Sorry, there's a garbage truck. Okay, shift up to the other side, all the way back. How far back can that hip get? I'm actively pushing and gripping with this foot. Come back up, repeat side to side. Reach back actively, come to the middle, just go back and forth. The further you sit into your butt cheeks, the better. Imagine you're sitting back into a chair. Reach back. I even lean forward a little bit to kind of make up for that. You're going to feel a nice stretch on the straight leg, inner thigh, as well as some kind of activation in the hip of the bent leg. About 3 more. Sitting back and reaching. Up. Sitting back. Last one each side. Sit and reach. And sit and reach. Awesome. Now, this next one, to be honest, it's a little tricky to get in because you're at home. It's hard for me to see you and correct you in the moment. I'm going to give you the simplest way possible. Some of you have seen similar things in yoga. So if that's familiar to you, you can do the one you're familiar with, but try to get what I'm getting here. Feet are medium wide. You're going to turn your right leg out, just like so. Put that right hand on your inner thigh. Cool? You can bend a little bit of both knees here. Left hand reaches to the sky. So again, just to reiterate, right leg out, right hand inner thigh, left hand up. Now push into your right hips. Touch the wall with your right butt cheeks, slide arm down, and then slide all the way up, touch the ceiling. So again, I'm sliding down, pushing my hips way over. I think I got my left and right mixed up again. I'm sorry today, guys. Slide all the way up. I think you get the idea. Your butt slides away from your down hand. Reach, 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 reach. Slide back up. Last two. Butt cheeks to the side wall. Reach as far as you can. Notice my arms are perfectly straight up and down now. That's the end goal. If you're not flexible enough, don't worry. Last one. Reach, 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 reach. Nice proud chest. Don't hide the chest. Stand up straight and switch. So again, I just take my left foot now, turn that left foot out. Left hand, inner thigh. Right hand, ceiling. I push my hips to the right as I slide my left hand down. Now, keep doing this if you feel comfortable. One thing you can change, both knees bending is a little different. Left leg straight, a little bit different. Both legs straight, a little bit different. There's a difference based on flexibility. All I care about is that you're able to push your hips to one direction and get those arms as vertical as possible. Now imagine that your top hand here is super heavy. And so on the way up, I really have to push up to touch the ceiling. We have 3 more. Push everything up, lock out at the top. Last 2. Everything up at the top. Last one. Everything up at the top. All right, well, warm up over. So this next one here, this is a step forward. What I want you to think about for this one is it's very dependent on your knee at home. So if you know that you have a knee that can get kind of cranky when you put weight onto it, you want to do this one very shallow, very short. If you know you got perfectly fine knees that can handle a lot, then you can go more forward. I'll step sideways so you can see what I'm talking about here. Now, your aim is to touch your heel to the ground about 6 inches in front and stand back up. Notice this leg never touches the ground when I come back. It's a single leg movement here. So look, about 6 inches in front of my foot, stand back up. That shouldn't hurt anybody's knee. If it does, you would just step even closer. Look, like right there, heel to toe distance. Your level up is just further forward. You'll find there's a limit that you can go, and that is where you stop and you just keep tapping a heel, standing up. Keep going. I want to show you the front view now. What matters here is that my working knee doesn't fall in like this. You see how the knee is falling inside of my foot? It should go out a little bit, pointing with my toes. So openness to my knees as I step and come back. Keep going here. We have 10 seconds. The goal of this one is about 15 to 20 repetitions. It's just warming up your knee's ability to bend shallow. Good. Switch legs. Same thing other side. It should be a similar distance here, but unless maybe you had a knee surgery or something, you're going to definitely notice a side-to-side difference. Do what is possible with either knee. Again, knee travels out-ish, not falling inwards. I'm trying to stay balanced. I'm only tapping my heel as far as I can reasonably go with no pain and not too much instability. This is a great one for barefoot training because you're connecting the arch of your foot with your ankle and calf flexibility with your knee ability. For any of you that hike out there or walk downstairs, see what I did there? Connected everybody. When you go downstairs or go down on a hike, people complain about their knees a lot. Usually what that means is they're not used to training their knee with so many downward motions, or think like forward motions. This is how we train it to make that knee more resilient so it doesn't hurt anymore, and you can go a little bit further or a little bit harder every time. Good. Rest. Switch legs again. This one sucks. I'm doing this one because it's good for me too. I'm a trail runner by recreation, and so having my knees resilient when running downhill is very important. So I don't bust my knees. Although sometimes I fall, and sometimes you can't do much about busting your knees when you fall. It's just going to happen. Good. So again, I'm just bending knee forward. I am keeping my heel on the ground here in the back leg, but it's okay if it comes up a little bit because again, when you're walking downstairs or going down the hike, your heel is going to come up. So that's normal. If it's coming up, don't worry about it. Again, no pain is the game here. 15 seconds. By now you should be feeling a good pump or burn in that thigh, above your knee, maybe even the hip or the little muscles in your ankle and foot. If you get something down that chain of command that's working here, I am a happy camper. Switch legs. Last set. Step in, step up, step in, as far as you can go. Now, you might be doing this and think to yourself, this is easy. Why is this so easy for me? Awesome. You're one of the few. And if it is that easy, there's no work here. What you would do is do this from a height. So up to 6 inches, no real more than 6 inches. You would just do a front step down, and not fall over like that. And just work the depth. So you can go further down if you're up on a step. Then from there, you could add weight. Dumbbells in your hand, light barbell on your back. As long as, again, there's no pain in that knee. We have 10 seconds left. Little knee steps up and down for 4, 3, 2, and last one. Awesome. Shake out that burn you probably feel in your feet, your ankles, your legs. Now, next one here is our single leg walkout. I have a client of mine that affectionately calls this the flamingo death. So, I bet essentially, if you know anything about flamingos, they can stand like this on one foot for forever. We are going to spend a lot of time on one leg forever right now. So, we're going to choose a leg. Ideally, non-dominant leg is on the ground. So pick up one leg. Ideally, this leg doesn't touch the ground for the next several reps. Slowly go down to your hands. Walk out to a push-up position. Walk back into your heel. Make sure you sit on that heel. Step up. Bring that knee up. I am falling over today. What is up with me? Same thing. Reach, same leg. All the way out to your push-up position. All the way back into that heel. Bring it up. Knee up is harder. Now, if that's too hard, use your tippy toes on the ground like this. I just use my toes on the ground as much as I need to put my weight on that front heel to stand back up again. So this would be a regression to make it possible. Using your toes behind you. You're still going to feel that leg work. We have 1 to 2 more reps based on your pace. All the way out, all the way back. All right, switch legs. Other leg, that foot comes up. Slowly squat down, put your hands on the ground. Full walk out. All the way back into that heel and hip. Stand up, ideally knee comes up. Take your time with this one. I have a tendency to rush certain movements when I'm talking. So please go at a steady pace here. Again, use that back foot lightly if you need it for a little bit of assistance. As long as most of your weight is on this front heel and hip. Keep going here. I'm just going to check the comment box. I see a little red indication, so I want to make sure everything is okay. Cool. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Should have about 1 more rep here. I'll do one with you. So you struggle together. All the way back up. And stand on up. Let's get a quick sip of water. We'll be down on the ground here for just a moment. So we're going to end up laying on our stomach here. Make sure you can see me if you need to and you have enough space. I'm actually pretty tight here with space in my garage, but oh well, I'll make it work. So we're going to lay face down, and I want your hands near the bra line. Notice how my forearms are vertical. I don't want it like this, where they're kind of at an angle. Bring those hands truly far back. Pull those shoulder blades together. Hover your hands. Set them down. If that's relatively easy, you do it from your knuckles. And again, we lift and set them down. Ideally, your head is neutral or forehead on the ground, but if you need it up, feel free to keep hovering your head. Shoulder blades engaged, hover those fists off the ground, set them back down. Do this one at your pace. Just keep lifting off and holding for several seconds via squeezing shoulder blades together, down and back. Squeeze and set. You're going to feel this kind of deeply inside your shoulders and mid-back, shoulder blade area. It'll almost feel like a little crampy sensation. This one is just getting your shoulders healthier for kind of push-up motions or rowing motions. We have 10 seconds here. I get a pretty wicked cramp from this one in my shoulder because I need to work on it more. This one's a great postural exercise to offset that desk life. Go ahead and rest. Next one here. I want everyone to try this from the knee push-up. So, from the knees at least. Even if you don't want to do a push-up today, this is what I want you to work on. We go hips forward in a knee push-up position. If you don't want to do the push-up, you're just going to take your arm, reach open, but notice I didn't pivot my hips, and bring it back down. Now, just do that if you're comfortable there. Otherwise, you're going to slowly do your knee push-up, and at the top, rotate open. Set that hand down, slow knee push-up, elbows tucked behind you, and then you would just switch sides. Now, if you don't want to do that push-up, I just want you to kind of controlled and carefully switch from one side to the other, keeping those hips engaged. The moment you do this, just so I brought my hips backwards, it's no longer a core and shoulder exercise. So hips are forward and engaged. Squeeze your butt. You either keep rotating or you slowly do your knee push-up all the way down, all the way up, and open. Keep going here for 15 seconds. Big point for that push-up. Pull those elbows behind you and down. Never out like this. This is not going to feel good. Close the armpit for most of your push-ups, or basically a 45-degree angle like this, not here and not here, in the middle. Go ahead and rest. We're going to stand back up now. Those are our 3 exercises one more time through. We have our single leg, walk out, walk back, stand up. So pick a leg, hover that leg, or I should call them the flamingo death traps. Leg comes up, sit low, trying to put your hands on the ground carefully. Walk yourself out to your push-up position. Walk yourself back into your heel and hip. Stand up, get that hip to work. Repeat. Slow sit, walk out. Use those back toes like this if you need it. You just do a tippy toe, but still put your weight in that front hip, front leg, front foot. Repeat. As long as you feel some work here, I am happy. We're going to get shoulders. We're going to get a ton of stuff from this one. We got 2 more reps. I usually find that 5 to 6 reps with this one is plenty. Going 8 to 10 is pretty hard. Kind of depends on your pacing also. Last rep. All the way out, all the way back, and up. Switch legs, same thing. Can you see me back here? Hide my face. Again, like I said, my game today is not to hit my face on this wooden art. Wouldn't be the first time. If you haven't started, please start with me. At the top, I like to fully lock out my bottom leg, fully lift up my knee. That forces me to use my hip. The biggest goal of this one is that hip stability and foot stability. By the end of it, we should really feel a good burn in that butt cheek hip area. Remember at the beginning of class, I said try to connect your breath with your rep. I care more about quality movement, quality breathing than how many you can do. Last rep here. Nice and steady. Awesome. We're going to lay back down on the ground. We have our shoulder blade lift off. So laying flat on our stomach. We're going to slide those hands by the bra line. Personally, I like doing it from the fist, knuckles down. But what you want to make sure that you do is get those shoulder blades set first. And then look what happens to my forearms. Do you see the angle they're at? As much as you can, get them vertical. So engage the shoulder blades, lift off, hold it a couple seconds, set it down. We're here for 40 seconds. How many lift-offs can you do while squeezing and holding several seconds at the top? Ideally, forehead is on the ground, head is kind of relaxed here. I need to talk, so I'm keeping my head up. But if it's hard for you to breathe with your head down, definitely just hover it and breathe away from the ground. The goal with this one is to get that nice cramp. You should be feeling this in the shoulder joint in the back, as well as some of the back muscles, where the shoulder blades meet in the middle near the bra clasp. We're here for 10 more seconds. Keep doing these at your pace. Holding it the entire 10 seconds is miserable. I'll leave that up to you. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and rest. Roll yourself up. We have our push-up T rotation. This is our last push-up of the day because I hate push-ups probably as much as you do. That's not true. I like push-ups actually. So we go down slow. Again, big note here. I find that people that mess their push-ups up, they do this. They try to go straight down. This is what happens if I go straight down. Do you see how I'm cramped up here in my shoulders and head and all the arm posture? Don't go down, go forwards. My chest should aim to move forwards and backwards ever so slightly. That helps pull my arms behind me rather than get cramped up into my neck and collarbones. So if that just gave you a good aha moment with your push-ups, awesome. That's what I aim to do. I forgot to do my rotations. How could I? Do your push-up with your T rotation. I got all caught up in teaching people how to do push-ups. How could I? I found that helps a lot of people learning to travel their chest forwards during the push-up. 10 seconds. Everybody loves their push-up with rotation. Last rep here. Up and rotate. Awesome. Quick sip of water if you guys need it. We're going to do some more work here on the ground. A few movements down, one movement up on our feet. So I'll be honest, this next one is a little tricky to get. If you can, I actually want you seated like how I am. I'm sitting on my shins, my feet are flat. It is doable on the toes, but not always as comfortable. I mean, if you have shoes, it might be uncomfortable to be here, but if you can get here for a moment, that's what we need to work on. And we work to put our hands on the ground, just like so. Now the major one with this, I'll give you an option here in a second, but what I want you to work on is squeezing your hips as high as possible, squeezing the glutes, the butt cheeks, and bring them back down. I puff my chest up as I do this, squeeze up, come back down. If that's not okay with you, keep going if that was. You're gonna do it here. This is a little bit harder on your shoulders as well, but it's not so bad on your legs. So it depends on what you need to work on or what you're able to work on. No matter what, I puff my chest up, and I squeeze my glutes up to the ceiling, and I come back down. So do the one that's right for you. Right now, I prefer this one. This one just gets more of a stretch on my thighs and hips. So all the way up and down. We got 20 seconds left. Squeeze glutes up, return back down. Adjust your wrists to whatever way is most comfortable. The goal of this one isn't to put too much weight on your hands. The weight should be more in your hips and lower body. So kind of lean that way as you do this. Last rep. And bring it down. Nice. Shake that out a little bit. Hopefully one of those two ways worked well for you. We're now going to be on our hands and our knees. A couple options here. For those that have been to my class before, you know that I like side kick throughs, or break dancers, you might have heard it called. And it looks like this: pivot and a kick, come back. That's hard for a lot of people. If that's hard for you, this is what I want you to work on. Just lift up your knees, lift a foot, set it down, lift a foot, set it down, and just repeat that process here. Otherwise, this is how we do our side kick throughs. I'm going to open my leg and put my heel down. Notice this knee is up. Now, free leg kicks under, and I sit down. This is your end position. Big note: knee up, planted heel. Knee up, planted heel. I scoop it under, twist it back. I go to the other side. I'm going to open outside leg, plant my heel, kick my leg, and thread under, return home. Open side, kick under, bring it back. Lift your top hand, that helps. Now, if you need to, downgrade to this kind of simpler version of just sitting your hip down. Sitting the hip down is perfectly fine, not kicking the leg. This one here is a little bit easier version. We have 10 seconds if you're doing the leg lifts. Finish up here in 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and rest. That's hard. That one's very hard. Take your time standing up. Last move of this circuit. I am sweating, guys. Are any of you guys at home outside right now? Because it is muggy and I am sweating. So this next one, this is a lunge shifter. Imagine for a second that regardless of how low you can go, you want to stay at that new level. So even if you're up here, you're going to stay at this height. If you're down here, you're going to stay at this height, and you're going to shift as far forward as you can go and as far backwards as you can go, not changing your height. So again, if you're up nice and tall, it still works forward and backwards. I am shifting my weight to my front leg, and I'm shifting my weight to my back leg, controlling it, not changing my height. Try not to come up at all. Actually, you can even test me here. If you see above my head, I have those rafters. My head doesn't change level with any of those rafters. Now, again, if I'm lower, this becomes a much harder exercise to manage. Try to stay the same height. We have 10 seconds on this leg. I know it's hard. Posture upright if you can manage it. For 3, 2, stand up carefully. Whew. That one burns. Now, note for that one, if it hurts your knee, you're probably going too far forward or too far down. So you can get shallow with this one. Switching legs. I hope I'm on a new leg here. Find the height that works for you. So typically you want to start 2 inches down and then work your way lower based on that. If you haven't started already, we're going to shift forward, shift back. To shift back, I break into my bottom knee and I get my weight in that foot. I break into the front knee and get my weight to that foot. So shift your weight from one foot to the other, trying not to change your height. That's the hardest part. Control it with the core, control your posture here. Go as low as you reasonably can. This one's meant to be tough. A little bit of a mind game, learning how to do this one right. We have 10 seconds. Nice and controlled lunging shift. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and stand up. That one burns, you guys. We go back on the ground here. Part of our little rest that we're going to take is these kneeling extensions. This one isn't that hard, but it's a nice kind of loaded stretch, good activation of the hips and the postural muscles up top. So I lay those hands behind me to whatever position is comfortable for you. Again, you can plant your feet on the ground, puff your chest up, squeeze those hips up as high as you can, and slowly return them down. Hips go as high as possible, squeeze glutes, return down. We're here for 30 more seconds. The other version is this one here. This one is inherently harder on your upper body and your wrists. So again, please do what's right for you. Pro tip, use your fingertips on the ground. Press into your fingertips and the heel of your hand. Well, I'm hearing some thunder outside. I'm glad I'm not doing this class in my normal position on the cement out in the open, in the scary elements of nature. Hips up and down for 2 more. There's 1 and 2. Awesome. From here, we're going to go into our side kick-throughs or whatever variation works for you. Some people call these break dancers, if that's more familiar to you. So side kick-through, I don't want too many. Just work on maybe 4 each side. Again, this one's more about the quality of the movement, not how many you do. So find your balance by lifting those knees. I'm going to peel open, plant my heel, kick under the body, come back, pivot to the other side. Kick under, thread back. One of the hard parts I see people get tripped up on is bringing this foot under to pivot to where you were. So you got to thread that leg back to where it was to pivot. 2 more. Again, doing this one at your own pace. We've got about 10 seconds left. Last one for me. Bring it home. Take your time standing up. We have our lunge shifters for this one. Now, I'm going to be honest. A lot of people hate this one. A lot of people hate a lot of the things I give them because it's challenging and forces them to push themselves in new ways. But if you don't want to do the lunge shifter, I want you to do it side to side. It's a lot easier. So same idea, you stay at the same height, you shift to one side, you shift to the other, staying as low as possible. That's your backup. Plan B, if you want to be nice to yourself today. Otherwise, our lunge split squat shifters, find the height you're comfortable at, shift as far forward as you can reasonably go, shift as far back as you can go. Feel how when I shift to one foot, the other leg kind of pushes me there. So front leg pushes me back leg pushes me forward. Try to keep your posture nice and balanced, nice and tall. Think about what your feet are doing. Are they gripping the ground? Are they active? Or are they just kind of passive right now? Let's get those feet thinking and doing work. 15 seconds. Much like your hands, your feet have a lot to do with your coordination, your dexterity, your balance. They have little brains in them, just like your hands know when they're touching something and doing something. Your feet do the same. Sadly, we put them in shoes our whole lives, so they get stupid. Let's get smart feet in my class. Switch legs, other foot goes back. We're gonna shift to a height you're comfortable with. If you're doing that side-to-side shift that I told you as a plan B, just keep shifting side to side. There isn't really a switch for that one or a different side. Go ahead if you haven't. Main goal with this one is staying the same height. Challenge yourself to stay as low as you can without any major pain or wobbliness. We want smooth shifting front to back. Don't forget to breathe with this one. Sometimes when we're off balance and we're feeling the chaos of our balance, we hold tight, we don't breathe. So try to relax. Tell your nervous system this isn't quite as hard. I know it's easy for you to say. That's probably what you just said to me. Just try. 10 seconds. Last one of these. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and step out of that. We are done with that one. Let's end up on the ground here for the rest of class. Just laying on our back. So this next one is probably the simplest one we're doing today and one of the most menacing. This is called the reach, roll, and lift. This is for anybody that wants a more stable shoulder. Most of our shoulder movements we're familiar with is in the front of our body, but the shoulder's foundation, just like our house has a foundation, is in the back. It's the shoulder blade. So we're gonna work the shoulder blade stabilizers. What we're gonna do is basically get in a child's pose like you might be familiar with. Use a fist for a pillow. Put your forehead on that pillow. Actually, I'll switch. Put your forehead on your pillow of your fist. Reach your free arm straight above your head, just like so. You see me okay? Yep. Now from here, you're going to lift this straight arm up off the ground, keeping your forehead and hips still. Set it back down. Again, lift up and set it down. Try to keep that arm locked out. Lift up, hold, set down. If you're thinking, oh my gosh, this is so difficult to do, you are not alone. This one's not fun to do and talk. Try talking. Makes exercise 10 times harder. Keep lifting up and down. Again, from that shoulder blade muscle. You're going to feel this like mid-back. That's what I'm looking for here. All the muscles in your back. Shoulder blade, shoulder delt, everything back there. Last 2, there's 1 and 2. That one is sinister. Switch sides. Other pillow for the fist. Other arm reaches straight out. Again, Notice real quick that my hips are really far backwards. If you're kind of doing this from right here, it's not going to work the same because you have all this space under your body to cheat with. The more you can get into a deep child's pose position, the better. If you haven't started already, go ahead and lift up and down. Again, lift off, set down. If you can, try to hold this longer than I probably am. There's a reason I'm rushing this one. If you guys notice, the ones I rush are the ones I don't want to do. But I got to be honest. Got to be transparency. That's key. Hold yourself accountable for the things you don't like doing that you should be doing. We have about 5 more. There's 5. There's 4. 3. 2. And rest. Oh boy, I just love that one so much. Next one here, honestly, much easier. What we're going to do, lay completely flat on your stomach. Now this is a low back handcuff to arm reach. Basically watch me do one first. I'm going to start with my hands handcuffed on my low back. I'm going to lift, ooh, you hear that thunder? I'm going to lift my elbows together as much as possible, squeeze my elbows up. Now, without moving my elbows, I want to straighten my arms up to the ceiling, slowly handcuff myself again, relax my arms. So it's a pinch together, extend the elbow as high as I get my hands, slowly re-handcuff my low back, and relax. Go ahead. This one's hard to watch and do, so now that you understand it, go at your own pace. Ideally, your forehead is down so that we don't strain our neck. If our forehead is lifted up, we're squeezing the back of our neck together. We want a nice long neck. Up and down. Trying to get all the shoulder blade stuff to work here. Back of our shoulders again. You even might feel some triceps, back of the arm. Keep repeating. This one is great for shoulder health. If you notice, there's a trend to a lot of my stuff. Making sure that your body works better. Last 3. There's 1, 2, and 3. Awesome. From here, bring yourself up, sitting on your butt. Now, some of you that are returning to my class are going to be familiar with this position. This is the 90-90. It's a position I love for hip health. You've heard me harp on this before. The flexibility is great and all, but I want mobility, which is active flexibility. What part of your hip or your joints do you own? Can you control? So watch me here. I'm going to open my legs and then drop to the left. Left knee in the front, right knee in the back. Make this nice 90-90 degree thing. When in doubt, if you look at the invisible space in between your legs here, it should look like a nice rectangle. It might be, for some of you, closed off like this, and it looks more like a triangle. Did you know you're going to get a geometry lesson today in my class? So what I want you to do here, we're going to kind of let this one be yours to play with, but bring your chest up tall and over your front or left knee. Get that stretch in your hip. Then watch. I'm going to push with my bottom leg. I'm going to pivot on my heels. Open the knee, pivot to the other side super slowly. Set my 90 down. Bring my chest tall over my other front knee. Get that loaded stretch in that hip. Push that leg down to propel my body away. Then I pivot open my knee. My knees are far apart as I slowly transition. I slowly set it down. Posture forward. Find that stretch. Again, play with this one yourself. Here's a tip. When you're switching, this leg opens first. It's trying to stay far away from the other leg. So we really torque our hips open. Keep going here at your pace. I am very happy that I didn't do this class in the driveway like normal. That would have been a disaster. I would have had to go, oh no, hold on real second, guys. I'm going to move this. I'm so sorry. I wonder If anyone's ever been struck by lightning during a live fitness class, I could have been the first, you guys. I'm pretty tall. I'm kind of like a lightning rod. We got 2 more switches. Reach, reach, reach. Torque open, last one. Actually, I got to go to the other side to make it even, because life has to be even. Last switch. All the way over. Find that good hip stretch. Awesome. From here, let's go into a butterfly stretch. Most of you are probably pretty familiar with this one, but we're going to do it a little bit my way. As you can tell, my stretches are not typical or traditional. Take your hands, grab your shins, elbows, push knees out. I know you're familiar with this one, but just hold for a second, just watch. So we want to pry those knees apart, try to get that groin stretch. For some of you, this is uncomfortable on your low back, in which case it's fine to just kind of sit here and let the weight of your knees open. That's perfectly fine. Or what you can do actually is drop into one knee. So this is a unique way to do the butterfly stretch. Push the knee down and let that load open up the inner groin, inner thigh. You can kind of do it to both sides. Push and lean away. These are all different variables here, but what I want you to work on right now is anchoring those knees open, get a nice kind of inner thigh groin stretch. Now, imagine for a second that the entirety of your body becomes solidified in stone. You cannot move, your arms will not budge, but your legs come to life and they're trying to pull together. Think, close the book into your elbows. Your elbows are blocking your knees, but keep trying to squeeze those knees closed. Feel your groin working now. That stretch works. 10 seconds of trying to pull your knees together, but not letting them. Feel the work here for 5, 4, 3, 2. Now begin to push those knees apart with your mind. Squeeze those knees open like you're touching your knees to the ground. Notice they opened more. We got more flexibility out of those legs. Keep squeezing open. Push, push, push. The book is trying to open further. You can assist with your arms a little bit, but do it from your hip muscles. Squeeze knees apart. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. 10 seconds of effort. 5, 4, 3, 2, ease off the gas. All right, we're going to work on one last stretch here, which is our internal rotator of our hip. So let's open the legs back up and go into a 90-90, just like before. Now, we're going to focus on this back leg here. What's crucial for this back leg is that we understand that if your knee hurts in this position, likely you need to pull that in a little bit, that foot in the back, or change where the knee is, and that will change that knee tension. So we have that back leg. Now watch, I'm going to sit backwards on the ground and towards that hip and straighten out my free leg. And just work on sitting this butt cheek to the ground, loading up that rotated hip stretch. You might remember this stretch from kind of like the old college days. Old sports used to do this, but it's kind of been lost in time for some reason. It's actually a really good stretch. You know, I've taken a lot of classes of different fitness styles over the years, and I don't really see people do this stretch much at all. So I kind of wonder why people have hip problems when we stopped using our hip into internal rotation. It's a crucial part of our hip's ability. Now let's slowly relax out of that and just switch to the other 90-90 and drop into that hip, straighten out your free leg, and just sit your butt cheek towards the ground. Notice I'm kind of laying back in my posture like I'm chilling by the beach or at the pool. This one is not meant to be sitting too upright. If you are crazy flexible, then maybe you're sitting super tall and into it, but most people are just going to sit how we are right now. As long as you're feeling some sensation kind of in the cusp of this hip from top to the side to the bottom, something on that inside part of that hip, it's a deep stretch. If you feel that, I'm happy. Good, go ahead and sit out of that. Shake your legs out a little bit. All righty, guys, that concludes our session today. Hopefully you guys had fun. You learned something new. You worked your body hard. Remember that recovery is key. You are stronger when you recover, not when you work out. when you work out, you are actually using what you have, which means you are depleting what you have. And the only way to get stronger, whether that's build muscle, build balance, build strength, endurance, or even burn fat, it doesn't happen in your workout. It happens when you recover, which means sleep, eat good food, drink water, and remember that it's okay to relax and not always work out so hard. So enjoy your guys' weekend or whatever day it is tomorrow if you're watching this at a different time rather than live. Thank you guys so much. If you have questions, always feel free to reach out and ask me. My name is Kenny Dean. I don't think I said that in the beginning of class, but thank you guys so much.